Hi everyone, Shirin here, and welcome to the Daily Creative Challenge for Adobe Premiere Pro. So for those of you who are new to the Daily Creative Challenge, this is a week-long challenge that is going to help you level up your video editing skills. So if you're new to Premiere or if you're a seasoned pro, stick around because these challenges this week are just going to help you become a better editor. Now before we dive in and learn more about this challenge, make sure to pop into the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. So let's take a look at the chat. So I see we've got Valdair, we've got Viola, we've got Bad Memory. Hello everyone. So as you all are tuning in, definitely make sure to tune into the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So let's hop on over and let's learn a little bit more about the creative challenge for this week. So this is behance.net/challenge/premiere. This is the page where you can go ahead and join the challenge. So the first thing that I want you to take note of is this blue button right here. So it'll say, "Hi, Shirin," in my case, "take the challenge." So once you press this button, you can sign up to receive daily challenges and you'll get those notifications via Creative Cloud. So how it works is each day you're going to get a new challenge, and then you can join the community chat over in Discord where you can stay connected and interact with the community, and that is where you can also share your work from these challenges. So let me show you how to do that. Once you press this link right here, the community chat, it'll take you over to this link right here, and this is the invite link to join the Discord. Now, when you go over to the Discord, it will look something like this. So this is the Discord for Premiere, and over here on the left, you have all these different servers. So for this challenge, you really want to take note of the challenge server over in this feedback section. This is where you can share your project once you're done with each day's challenge. And then you can also get feedback, and I really encourage you all to give each other feedback. Of course, I'm going to be popping in there to give you all feedback, but help each other out. This is how we all learn and grow together, right? So you also have the creative challenge over here in announcements, and this is where the creative challenges are announced. You can also introduce yourself. So let's see. Down here in chat, if you go over to introductions, make sure to go ahead and introduce yourself if you haven't already. And of course, there's all these other great servers in here as well. So ask a question, tips and tricks, career advice. So definitely check out the Discord. Now let's go back to the challenge page. So if you scroll down on this page, you'll see that each day a new challenge will be unlocked. So for today's challenge, it is get started with video. So in this challenge, you're going to learn how to create a new sequence in Premiere Pro with a workspace, bins, and imported footage. So you can follow along with the starter files that I've provided for you all, or you can use your own footage, of course. You've got options, whatever you want to do. Go ahead and use either my footage or your own footage. So if you do want to use the footage that I've provided, you can press get started right here, and then it'll bring you to this page. So over here you have all of these starter files. So you can either copy these to your work. So this will basically save them to a file over on Creative Cloud that you can access, or you can just hover over the clips and you see these 3 dots will come up, right? So if you just press that, you can press download for each clip and then just save those to your computer wherever you would like. Now, the most important thing to do before even starting editing videos is to organize all of your files. I know when you're editing, you're probably really excited to just dive in and edit all your footage, but taking the time to really organize all of your files is going to make you a much more efficient editor. So the first thing that you want to do after you have downloaded all these clips is organize on either your external or your computer, wherever you save all of your files. And something that I like to do is copy and paste all of these project folders whenever I create a new project. That way, it makes the whole process a lot easier for me. So let me explain to you what I mean. So over here, you see where it says template, new project, Premiere. I can just go ahead and right click on that, or just press Command copy, and then paste this over to the place on my hard drive where I am creating this new project. So I would just change this template, new project, Premiere to whatever my project is. So for this, I would name it something like Daily Creative Challenge. And then over here within that project folder, I have all these different folders that mimic the same sort of setup that I'm gonna have in Premiere. And I'll show you what I mean. So the first thing I have is my project, and within project, I saved a new project from Premiere, and this is just a blank project. So you can open up Premiere, just create a new project, save it, and then every time that you want to create a new project, all you have to do is just change the name of this new project right here, and then open it up in Premiere, and you're good to go with all of your settings the way that you want them to be. The next thing that I have is footage. So this is where I would put all my footage. And then we have audio. So if I'm recording audio externally, this is where I would put all of that. And then I also have folders for graphics, stills and photos. This is for After Effects compositions, which depending on what you're working on, you may or may not need this. And then I also have exports and other. If you want, you can go ahead and completely copy this sort of setup on your own computer. So if you're watching the replay, take a sec, just pause right here and set up your folder like this, or you can just tailor it to whatever you need. So if you don't need the After Effects compositions, maybe get rid of that. If you don't need stills and photos, you can get rid of that. You know what I mean? But having everything organized like this will help you just edit a lot more efficiently. So the next thing that we want to do after we have everything all organized is start editing in Premiere, right? So let me show you. This is what the project looks like. The folder for the project that I'm going to be editing is this top one right here. So let me just cover the other one so you don't get confused. So similarly to that setup that I just showed you, this is how it looks, right? So if I go over to my project, this is the project I'm going to be working out of, and then my footage is in here. So I have my starter files all right here, and they're nice and organized in this folder called starter files. So now what we can do is go into Premiere and set everything up. So let's go over to Premiere. So if you are new to Premiere and you've never really interacted with this interface before, I know you might be a little bit intimidated and confused on what you are looking at. Don't worry, we're gonna break it down. Once you get a understanding of everything and what they do, you're gonna be like, this is so easy. It's not that intimidating. So the first thing that I want you to take note of is this panel over here on the left. So you'll notice we have all these different folders in here, right? So once you get into Premiere, your folders are gonna be called bins. Bins are folders. It's the same thing. So if you're hearing bins and you're like, what is that? It's just a folder. So my setup for my bins is very similar to the same setup that I just showed you on my computer, right? So those files that I had and the folders that I had over on my external hard drive, this is pretty much the same setup. So if I wanted to import my footage, there's two ways that I can do that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's familiarize ourselves with the whole interface, and then we'll come back and we'll import some footage. So up top, you have all of these different workspaces. So let's go through all of them. Up here, we have learning. And so this is a workspace that Premiere has optimized with these different panels. And this is going to help you learn basically how to edit in Premiere. Then we can go over to assembly, and you'll notice as I'm going through these workspaces are changing, right? So the panels and the types of panels that we have, the location of the panels, the size of the panels, they're all changing around. And the reason for that is because they're all optimized for whatever this workspace is about. So in this case, it's assembly. So assembly is like putting your clips together. And then if we go over to editing, you'll see it changes again. So now this workspace is optimized for getting in and actually editing your footage. You'll notice that as you go through these workspaces, these are essentially all of the different steps for editing a video, right? So importing your footage in assembly, then editing the actual clips, then you're coloring effects and so on. So if I go to color, you'll see now we have Lumetri Color, for example, and Lumetri Color is the panel for all of your color correction and color grading needs. And then we have effects over here. So these are all of your video effects and audio effects. And then if we go over to audio, this is now all optimized for audio, and you have the essential sound panel. And I know I'm throwing a lot of information your way, and we're gonna deep dive into things like this further on in the week. So don't get overwhelmed, I'm just showing you what all these different workspaces are. Next one is graphics. So this is where you have your essential graphics panel, and this is where you can access a lot of really cool graphics, and a lot of them are for free too, so that's really cool, and you can add those to your videos. And then the newer workspace that we have in here is captions. So this is really cool. You can transcribe your sequence, you can add captions, it's amazing. And then the last one we have is libraries. So basically like everything that you have in your libraries would be in here. But the most exciting part, in my opinion, is being able to create your own workspace. So once you familiarize yourself with Premiere and you get a good sense of your own workflow, you can start to add in different panels, pull out different panels, and just optimize your workspace for yourself. So you'll notice this last one that I have is called Queen. Now, you're not gonna have that on your program because this is something that I created for myself. So let me show you how you can create your own workspace. If we go over to any of these other workspaces, so let's do editing, for example. I can start to take out panels or add them back in. So let's say I know that I don't want any of these panels down here at the bottom, right? So the project history markers, all that, let's start getting rid of those. What I can do is press on this little pancake icon right here, and then we can press close panel. So let's go through and let's do that for all of these. We'll just keep closing, closing, closing. And let me know in the chat if you have created your own custom workspace in Premiere. Also, I see we have Steve in the chat. We've also got Chris, Umacorn. Hello, everyone. We've also got Katie. Let's see. We've also got Viola. Hello, everyone. So glad you were able to join. So now we've gotten rid of all of those, right? And this is how I typically like to have this. I like to have my sequences panel be pretty large and take up a good amount of screen real estate, because this is mainly where I'm going to be working out of when I'm adding in clips and audio and stuff like that. So you can even go ahead and expand this a little bit more. So if you just hover over the area between where these different panels overlap rather, you'll see this little icon comes up. And so now I can just pull up and we're stretching out that panel. And I can extend it to the left or to the right. So same thing over here, like if I wanted to bring it in, I could do that, or I could take it out. So let's say I want to leave it more or less something like this, but I maybe want to move this one around. So let's say I just want to shorten it a little bit. And then let's say we want to add in a panel. So right now I have my source monitor, and the source monitor basically is where you can see a preview of your clips from your project panel. Now, you'll notice that we actually took out our project panel, and that was where we had all of our different folders, right? So let's bring that back. You can do that by going over to Window, and then you'll see you have all these different panels right here. So whatever has this check mark next to it, that's what you're seeing on your screen. So let's look for projects right here. So let's add that in, and there we go. So now we have our project panel added, but I'm gonna click and drag and bring this up here, and you'll notice that these different purple areas and gray areas are coming up on the screen, right? So this is an area where you can drag in and drop these different panels. So let's say I want to bring it up here. Now that project panel has been added to the same panel as our source, so I can toggle back between source or project. But let's say I want this to be its own separate panel. So I'm going to pull out source, and then I'm going to bring it over here. So I want to hover it to the side, and now it is its own separate panel. And I prefer doing this because I like having the source monitor and program monitor next to each other, so that while I'm editing, I can get a preview of clips over here from my project panel. So for example, let's say I want to preview what this clip looks like, right? If I just double click, it will now bring that up in my project panel. And it's taken a sec to load. There we go. So now I'm getting a preview of what this clip looks like. And that's really great because as you're editing, you want to be able to know what you're looking at. And then as we get more into editing, like tomorrow, I'll show you some really cool tips and tricks for basically making your workflow with selecting clips even quicker. But this is really great for that. So I like having the source monitor a little bit smaller than the program monitor because once I go to actually editing down here on my timeline, I want to get a bigger preview of what I'm actually going to be looking at for this video that I'm editing. So let's say I'm happy with this and I want to save this as a workspace. What I have to do is now go back up here to this pancake icon in the workspace that I'm in. So for this one, I'm in editing. So I'm just going to press that once. And then you'll see you have these different options, and one of them is save as a new workspace. So let's press that, and now we can give this a name. So let's call this Adobe Live, and then we'll press OK. So now you'll see that workspace has now been added up here to our workspaces as a custom workspace. So let's say you're going through your editing and you're realizing that you kind of want to change things around. So you can do that, and you can save that again as a new workspace, or update your workspace rather. So let's say you want to change up these panels over here on the right. So maybe you want to get rid of Lumetri color. So again, we're going to press this pancake icon and then press close panel. So now we've gotten rid of that, and let's say, you know what, maybe you're not really feeling essential graphics either, you don't want that up there, so we'll do the same thing, just press on that pancake icon and then close panel. So now we have this much bigger timeline down here, and maybe this is actually better for you. You like having a bigger timeline down here. So let's say you want to update your workspace. You can go back up here to your workspace, press the pancake icon, and then look at this. You can either reset to save layout. So let's say you went through, you made all these changes, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know what? I actually really prefer the way that I originally had it. You can reset to save layout, or you can save the changes to this workspace. So we'll press save changes to workspace, and boom, now you have gotten an updated workspace. So that is a really great way to do that. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is bins. So over here, remember how earlier we were talking about bins, right? You'll notice that I have my bins color coordinated, and this is something that I like to do because I'm a very visual color sort of person. You don't have to do this, but you can. So let me show you how you can do that. To create a new bin, you can go down here to the new bin icon and just press that, and it'll bring up this bin, and you can give it a new name. So let's call this sequences, just as an example. And then I'll press enter to name that. Now you'll see by default, it's colored orange, but if I want to change that color, I can right click on sequences, then go to label, and then within label, it'll give me all these different color options. So let's say, you know, you want to make your sequences like some sort of green color. So let's do Caribbean. And now that has been colored that color, right? And you can also go ahead and do these different labels to your footage as well. So let's go over to our starter files. So you'll see right now, this file that I have added to my timeline right now is showing up blue, right? But let's say we want to make all of these, I don't know, pink. Let's try pink. So I'm going to select all of these, and the way that I selected all of them is by just pressing on any one of them, really, either the first one or the last one, then pressing shift, and then pressing on the last one, and now you have selected all of those clips in between. And then we can go right click, label, and then change these all to, let's do rows. So now, if I bring this over to my timeline, you'll see it's now pink. So this is really great because if you're going through and you have different types of footage. So let's say you have some A-roll and then some B-roll. You can make them different colors. So as you're editing, visually, you know what you're looking at. But I'm just going to press Command C to get rid of that and press Command Z once more. And we'll just bring those back to blue for now. So to recap, basically you want to go through and create a new workspace for yourself and make sure you save that as a workspace. Take out some panels, add in some panels, and really just optimize it for the way that you like to edit. And then go ahead and create all these different bins. And let me just get rid of sequences. So if you do want to delete a bin, you can just select it and then press this trash can icon right here. Now, another really cool thing that you can do is get a different preview of your project panel. So right now you'll see they're all in this list order, right? That's just how I prefer to look at things. But let's say you prefer to look at them as icons. So you can have this icon view. And the way I got there is by pressing down here on this icon view button. Now there's another view as well, and this is called freeform view. So this is the best way that I can explain it is like having sticky notes. So if you're the kind of person who really likes moving things around, this is going to be great for you. So let me make this panel a little bit bigger. And let me show you what I mean. So you can press, click and drag, and just put these literally anywhere you want. So it's really similar to having like sticky notes on a board. So if this works for you, this is an option. Honestly, it confuses me a little bit and I really prefer the list view. So I'm going to go back to list view. Now, something else that I do want to show you is how to import footage. So let's go back and let's bring in these starter files, right? So I already have these in here, but let's pretend that I don't. So what I can do is choose this starter files folder right here, and then click and drag this over to Premiere and just drop it in. And now it has imported our footage. So if you go down, we'll give this a sec to load, it will show you all of your clips. It's just taken its time. You know, I need some coffee today. It's gloomy outside. It's like, Shirin, I'm not awake yet. But basically it would look like this, right? It'll look like all these starter files in here. Now, another way that you could do it is by going over to File, Import. So now you'll see I'm in the folder within my external where I have all these different starter files. So I could either go back to footage, for example, and then go to starter files and then press import, or I can just individually choose them. So let's just do the same thing. We'll choose the starter files and we will press import. And now it has imported them right here. But we don't want that because we already have the starter files, right? So I'm just going to press Command Z, get rid of that one, and then Command C and get rid of that one as well. Now let's take a look at the chat and let's see what we have going on in the chat. Viola says, I have never opened Premiere, so thanks for this detail. Oh, you're so welcome. I know how intimidating it can be when you open Premiere for the first time and you're just like, what am I looking at? So I'm really glad this has been helpful for you. Let's see, what else do we have in the chat? We've also got Nathan, says hi from Arizona. Hello from California. Hello, neighbor. Let's see, who else? Katie from Oregon. We've got all my neighbors up in here. Let's see. Just going through the chat. Katie says, love to watch a professional work. Yay! I'm really glad that you all are finding this very helpful. So just to recap, make sure that you set up your workspaces, your bins, and you import your footage, and take a screenshot of your workspace, your custom workspace, and share it over in Discord. So let's just go back to Discord, go over to Discord, go to the challenge server, and right here, just share a screenshot of your custom workspace. I would love to see it. So make sure to come back here tomorrow, same place, same time, and we will do day 2 of the Daily Creative Challenge. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Bye!